You have gravity, but you have something else that forces you back down to the earth. You know, the law of lift is when you're trying to move against gravity. The plane does that, but it has to gain some kind of support in order to achieve that goal. And you know, everyone must understand everything has its direct boundaries, and it's designed to make things happen naturally.
That's good. You know, when I was looking at opposition, I look at it also as like friction. And opposition comes and friction happens out of that. But you know, when there's friction, that actually creates energy, it creates heat. Can I tell you that that opposition really creates the fuel that you need really to push you forward in life? Without opposition, you would just be parked there and comfortable. Without opposition, really there would be no growth. Without opposition, you would be sitting there saying, okay, this is nice. You know, I'm enjoying myself. This is wonderful. But when opposition comes, you're no longer comfortable. And it causes you to make some decisions, and it causes you to take action. You can't just sit still anymore when opposition comes. And God uses opposition to grow people. It causes you to move. You move past limitations. And, you know, opposition comes, and all of a sudden you're forced to make some choices. But those choices really take you to your highest good, moves you on to your next level. Prophet Fitzroy.
You know, Prophetess Cynthia, I see opposition. Opposition is only opportunities in disguise. Because I see opposition as not as an obstacle, but I see it as a jumping off place. What do I mean? Instead of as a blockage, I see it as something you can stand on, and now you're standing on it. It's beneath you, so you are above it, and now you have an opportunity to even take off higher. So the opposition is not really a blockage. But the opposition is for you to stand upon it to launch off to your next assignment or your next possibilities and miracles.
Wow. It says opportunity, and it's a launching point.
It is.
Wow, I love
Opportunities in disguise.
I love it.
And, you know, it's where you could, the opposition is designed to stimulate faith in you. That's why you fight the good fight of faith, and not the fight of the common sense.
All right, that's good.
You know, sometimes we get engaged in certain kinds of fight with others. You know, you talk about, oh, my mother didn't make no food. You know, not realizing that God has allowed something to come your direction to stir up something He's already planted in you as your next level.
Wow.
You know, and when that situation comes, if you can see through God's eyes, and perceive it from His perspective, then you'll never miss the miracle that comes through adversity.
Jesus.
That's true. There's definitely a miracle in adversity. And you know, I'm reminded of when you see coal in the ground, well, through opposition and tension and pressure over time, you know, that coal actually changes its whole composition.
Yes.
It goes from coal and it turns into a diamond, something of great value. And that happens through the pressure of being in the earth over time.
Come on.
Well, just think about God having you in situations that you may perceive as being pressure and not uncomfortable. But do you know that the longer that you're in them, something begins to change in you.
Yes.
It turns you into that diamond. It causes you to be something greater than what you were before that pressure came.
Yes.
And you know, when I look at different things in nature, it really is a perfect example of how our life changes and evolves. Through the pressure and the uncomfortable times, that's where you see the most growth in your life. Well, Prophetess Jordan, what do you want to say about that pressure, what it does to you?
Yes, Prophet Cynthia, opposition, but like you mentioned the gold, when it goes through fire, it comes out pure. If you never went through opposition, you'll never accomplish anything. And you know what runs through my mind is when David came up against Goliath, and they were saying, oh, David, Goliath is too big. You can't handle that. David says, not too big. It's Goliath. David said, Goliath. They were saying Goliath was too big for him to hit. David says, no, it's too big for me to miss.
Yes.
So that's what we have to look at opposition when it comes up to us. No, this is not too big for me. It's too big for me to miss, because when I come through this, I'm going to come out like pure gold. I have a witness. Opposition does make you stronger.
Yes.
When you go through something, it makes you strong. When you will see it, something next time, you'll say, oh, well, I done been through that, so I know that. It makes you strong. It gives you strength. And that's why we say opposition is good.
It really is.
That's
It
right.
really is. You know, I'm reminded, I have the 2 properties I always talk about as a testimony to me because I never would have had it if it wasn't for this ministry. But even after I got the first property, and there was opposition because I didn't have the money to do it with. You know, they're asking for checks that I didn't have. And I had to stand there in that uncomfortable place and because of the teaching, watch over my words and never tell them I didn't have anything. It was always, okay, I'll call you back. Okay, yeah, I'll do this. It was always yes, yes, yes. But I learned how to walk through that because of the teaching here. And that was opposition, and it was pressure. It was uncomfortable. You know, I remember just before I was supposed to be closing, and I did. My family was driving up here to see me from Ohio on the road for 13 hours, and I was like, God has got to close. We're talking about pressure, and you go through those things, and what happens when you're in pressure? You can't melt. You can't back down.
Come on.
You have to hold your ground. That's where you're being tested.
Yes.
That's when you find out what you're made of. That's when I found out that these principles work because I had nothing else to hold on to. Master Prophet said, you know, don't ever say you don't have. You know, stand, you're going to close. This is, you know, I had to just grab onto that even though the picture in the natural wasn't measuring up. That was opposition. But because I went through that, about 6 years later when I went for the next house, not having anything, having less in the bank than what I had for the first house. But I had confidence because I saw God do it the first time.
Yes.
And so I was able to walk that second time because of the pressure that I went through before and I saw God come through. Well, guess what? The pressure's going to come again. And I said, well, you know what? I know what happened last time and I got the victory. I know it's not going to be comfortable, but I'm going to do it all over again. And so it does make you strong and it makes you grow. And you know what? I'm going to start looking for a third house.
Go ahead.
Because I know it works. I wish I could just get everybody out there that doesn't have one to go after the first one. Because it really does work. You know what I found out where the limitation was and why I didn't have one before? Because my mind didn't allow me to have it. And the Master Prophet dropped those words in me and began to change my consciousness to let me know that if I didn't have a home, I was homeless and that it is available for me.
Right.
All right, all right.
Ooh, Prophetess Cynthia.
Jesus. You know, I'm into something else here, but you know, somebody else needs to get their property.
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
to take a minute and let them know it is available. I don't care what the economy looks like. It is available.
It is available.
It's available.
So you got to throw something out of whack to get it in whack, as
Oh,
Master
yes.
Prophet teaches us. I'm excited because so many people think that you have to stay in the comfort zone and oh, God is going to work it out and oh, we're going to wait on that miracle. No, faith without works is dead. You get out there and you throw yourself in a dilemma so that your seed can speak. If God says you're going to have real estate, go ahead on and look at the house. Don't fear the house. Don't even look at their faces. Go and step out and say, okay, here we go, God. Prophetess Cynthia just said, she was at the closing with no money. Is that insane or what? But that is so God. That pressure made her to now she's talking about a third property. Just like it's for her, it's for anyone else who wants or desires to step into a new season or a new place in which God has destined and designed for them.
And you know, Prophetess Kate, that came through imagination. I could not have created it if the Master Prophet dropped that in my mind, and then I began to take it and put the flesh on it. And begin to visualize it and begin to see it. And that can happen for each and every one of you, whatever it is that you desire. It starts in your imagination. But you know, some people don't take the time to play with it.
Right.
What if I had just heard house and never decided that it would be, the first one would be a 2-bedroom, the second would be a 5-bedroom? What if I didn't play with that in my mind and begin to create that for myself, and I wouldn't have been living in it today? So your imagination is creation. It is powerful. You know, every prophet up here has a testimony about it. We live by it. We just follow the Master Prophet. He taught it, and he taught it in a way that we could grab it and begin to operate it in. I said in other churches before, but no one revealed it and taught it in a way that I could take it and begin to work with it. That my imagination is creation, and I can really have whatever I believe I can have in consciousness.
Prophet Cynthia, I just want to say one more thing about the opposition. Now, they don't realize the opposition you came up against before you purchased the house. They don't see your seed.
Wow.
They didn't see your sowing. That was the opposition.
Oh,
to you.
yes.
And you was in opposition where you couldn't, there's some people you couldn't even tell them you were sowing that seed.
Wow. Jesus.
True. That's true.
It was.
Jesus.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
mother,
It was
come
very
on, you
uncomfortable.
all in
Jesus.
it.
And I had to be silent.
Yes.
It was a birthing time.
Right.
And I had to be silent because if I had started to say what was forming in me, then I would have had people saying, well, you know, why are you going to give them that money? Or
Jesus.
don't you have bills to